Hello there. So this is a vlog about the YouTube channel, how things are going, what my goals are, which, a lot of people honestly are not going to be interested in this. However, at least one person has said that they have enjoyed this content when I did it in the past. And I think for me, it's part of this game development vlogging that if I weren't doing the game development stuff, I would not have started this channel. At least not at the time that I did. I was also thinking of doing a bunch of math-related content. But, my thing is, I'm not only doing game development. I'm not only doing math. I'm also doing the language learning stuff, so making some music, maybe some chess, physics, math, this kind of stuff. So it's a bit of a variety channel, and if you can focus on one thing, it is probably better on this platform to focus on one thing. Now, we can see, I want to see if we can look at 90 days here. And so this little area right here was a bunch of math videos. And I think these were coming out one per day. So I don't know. Yeah, it says 2, but there's actually 1 per day here generally. Well, not per day. So it's 26th, 27th, 29th, 31st. First, third. Anyway, I actually had sort of stored up some content. I had maybe a dozen videos stored up, and so I decided, well, instead of just sitting on them, it was time to release them. And so I sort of scheduled them out. And now it's mainly this math stuff, like talk about imaginary numbers and practice in different bases, deriving Euler's formula, binary arithmetic, getting started with projective geometric algebra, this kind of stuff. So there's sometimes sort of high school level math, sometimes it's more advanced, actually pretty advanced stuff that even, people who have a math degree, they often haven't even heard of it, which is sad, but that's a whole other topic, like Lie theory stuff, super, super interesting stuff. But it's pretty advanced. Now, it's not surprising that this didn't really get many views. Let's see, there's one in here. Okay, 37 views on one particular day. It's not, and actually, I'm pretty sure this day was, I think it was an earlier video I did about, let's see, I think it was programming, or math for programming? I guess not. I don't know. Not too important. Anyway, you can see they didn't do too well. I wasn't like jumping to release these videos because I didn't think they would do very well, but rather than sit on them, I decided to schedule them out. And yeah, so we had some jumps here in the past. This was the math for programmers one. This was a okay one. And then around here, so starting 14th of June, I guess, I've been pretty much every day releasing a video. Sometimes these are scheduled, sometimes not. And so it's not that super obvious, but like here, this was down to like 2 views a day in here. And so I decided, let's give it a go. Let's release more consistent content. And compared to then, numbers obviously are doing better. You can see my watch time. So since I started doing that, clearly better. Not every day. Well, actually, there's a gap here. So I got punished right away for not uploading one day. But and then you see this number over here, this 90. I actually look a lot at this number. It's probably the one that I focus on the most. However, you don't want to focus only on views, of course. So subscribers, I want my views to convert into subscribers. If I'm losing more subscribers than I'm gaining, that means I'm doing something wrong, and I need to improve the quality of my content. And But right now I'm kind of focusing on this number with the asterisks, as long as subscribers are healthy, that there's, you know, more positive than down. And so this number, when I, like in the, maybe a couple, 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was like, I'd started releasing videos, and then it's like, maybe 20 or 30. So the goal was get it to 50. And then, now in the last week or so, and currently still, it's in the 50, roughly the 50 to 100 range. And so for me, getting it to 50 is an easy goal. Sometimes it dips below, and it's like, okay, let's get it past 50. But that's easy to achieve, and getting it up to 100 is more difficult. So I have like this goal where it's this range. I've got an easy goal is 50, and the little bit harder goal is 100. And of course, some of you are thinking, just make better quality stuff, put it out there. And I could do that, but I wouldn't be able to release a video every day if I'm putting more time into it. Now, I have sort of gotten the rhythm of this stuff to where I think I have scheduled out probably 5 videos, and I'd actually like to increase that, but basically I can do a lot of other stuff and also do pump out a video every day. And so, but what I mean is I can then start working on higher quality videos where I sort of build them up over time. It's not just record and upload. It might take, I might work on it, a little bit each day or on different days. So now I'm starting to be able to spend more time on trying to get more quality. Now, if we look at this one, so my math content generally was getting like 0 to 5 views, maybe like 10 views would have been a good one. Now this one had 93 views. Somebody complained that the content was a bit disorganized, and they're right. I wasn't expecting this one to do better. And also, this is a quite difficult subject, and so, but their comment kind of motivated me to study the subject a bit more, which I'm doing. And once I understand the subject a little bit better, I can make better videos on the p-adic numbers, l-adic numbers. It's like this whole other number system. Okay. And that's interesting. Maybe I should have used this as a thumbnail, huh? Anyway. So, but this is a super interesting subject, but I got to figure out how to organize it better, and I need to learn it more properly. It's a bit of a complicated subject. And now this video, the first few days was getting like 0 views, but now today it's helping me out with the analytics here. Right here, it's at the top today. So sometimes it takes a few days, but I guess also it's the weekend. So this morning when I woke up, by the way, so there's a couple things that I want to talk about, actually. It's not just a rambling vlog, but I had a couple subjects that I'm debating making dedicated videos to it. But one thing that I think a lot about is when you try to do something, a lot of times you plateau. So for me, I play chess, and if you play chess for a long time, you will plateau, right? If you don't plateau, then I guess you're the best chess player in the world, and you just keep getting better consistently. But in reality, that doesn't happen to people. I don't want to go too much into like my history with chess. I played in some tournaments when I was a kid, but I wasn't playing like national tournaments or anything, just like local stuff. But when I was like 25, I started kind of getting into it pretty seriously. Not thinking I was gonna be a pro or anything. It was just a serious hobby. And for like a year, I was making steady improvement. And a year's a long time to be making steady improvement, but there's all kinds of things to study. And then I plateaued, and I don't know that I've gotten better since. So it's been like 10 years. yeah, I think it was like when I was 28 or 29 or something, actually. Anyway, it was like 10 years ago, and I don't know that I'm really better. I know more things about the game now than I did. I can learn more openings and all kinds of stuff. But that first year, actually, I had more motivation because I was steadily getting better. This created like a rolling snowball of motivation. It was satisfying. One more view, thank you. So it was satisfying to keep getting better, right? But then at some point you plateau. And I think that is sort of the moment of truth where is this thing that you're doing, it could be anything, is this really something that you want to do? Because pretty much everything, and hopefully you don't plateau forever, but there will be times, for example, I mean, also with language learning, the truth is that if you're continuing to practice and study, you are always getting better. However, you will have bad days. There will be, and this happens, if you pay attention, this happens in your native language, where sometimes you said something that was really funny and everybody laughed, or you said something or you wrote something and you're like, that was good, that was nice. Other times we've all had moments where, oh gosh, I wish I hadn't said that, or gosh, you stumbled with your words, or you said something really awkward. The moment you said something, you're like, oh, that's not what I should have said. And sometimes that really doesn't have to do with language. It has to do with something else, I guess, like human to human interpersonal relations, your people skills, or something like that. But sometimes it's a question of language, like you just didn't express yourself well. So that happens in our native languages. So of course it's going to happen with our the languages that we speak as second languages. And that's an awkward way of saying that. Our second languages, second and third or whatever. So yeah, well, and so you have these ups and downs, and that's, you have that with random data, random events, right? Like there's a famous cognitive bias that humans have where when they look at random behavior, they find patterns. This is kind of what our brain is designed to do. Our brain looks for patterns. It's sort of fundamental to intelligence, finding patterns. But the thing is, when we look at random data, we find patterns where there isn't any. And when you ask people, to create random data, they will create, it could be pixels on a screen, it could be numbers, whatever it is. They will have probably a few different kinds of biases, but one of them is they create data that is too spread out evenly. It's too uniformly distributed. Tends to not be clumping, whereas in random data, you sometimes have clumping. And there's also all kinds of phenomena where, like, if you ask them to pick a number from 1 to 10, a random number from 1 to 10, they're much more likely to choose 7 than the number 1. We tend to think of odd numbers as being more random, although that's obviously nonsense, but I think even numbers, like the number 10, for example, or 12, they seem less random to us because they have more symmetry. Like the number 12, you can divide it by 4, 2, 6, 3. And so it has a lot of symmetry. So it seems like a neat number, even a beautiful number. So it seems less random. So if you ask somebody for a random number, they might choose like 37, 79, something like that. Anyway. So if you were playing poker or something, you're also going to have these plateaus. You're going to have ups and downs and plateaus. And in something like poker, it's very hard to figure out when are you... So if you're getting bad results, was it random? Or are you just not doing well? Like, there's all kinds of ways you get tired, or... it can be more like medium to long term. And just like chess really opened up my eyes, because there's not really much randomness. You could argue there's some randomness in, like, did you, like, when you make a silly mistake, you could argue that there's some randomness there but anyway, overall, you know, you can also say there's no randomness. It's all just skill. And, but despite that, you will plateau at some point. Everybody, I think, yeah, it's like you can't grow exponentially forever. Nothing does. And so you'll hit these plateaus. And so the big question is, how do you act when you hit a plateau? So that is something I kind of said maybe everything I wanted to say, but I had some ideas of making and I might make a standalone video on that. But anyway, this doesn't even really have to do with this stuff, because actually my growth is good. Now, so I'm actually meeting my goals. Now, a lot of people will look at my stuff. So this is part of why I want to talk about this, because I think for young people, actually, let's just look at my channel, I guess. For young people, they will look at this. They'll be like, okay, you've got a video, 4 views, 5 views, 3 views, 3 views, 1 view on this one, right? 2 views. Now this is going back into the math stuff I was talking about earlier. But I think they'll look at that. Like, even my good videos are just 100, a little more than 100 views here. And I was really surprised at this. I was expecting this to be like 2 views or 1 or 0 or 5. But for some reason, I think it's because I said German has long words. And I was hoping this one would do better, because I worked on the thumbnail a little more. And this actually has a lot of good information in it, as far as I'm concerned. But it's a bit long. And I also think that this kind of content, how I learned a language in a few months, there's got to be tons of this stuff on the tubes, and yeah, too much supply, and kind of most of it is probably clickbait garbage. And yeah, so let's see. Yeah, 4 views, 1 views, 3 views. So a lot of young people, or just people in general, they don't have to be young, will look at that stuff and be like, wow, you're wasting your time and you're failing. But you see, my growth is up, and it is gradual, steady growth. And that's what I want. So that's another thing I wanted to talk about, because a lot of people are looking for these big jumps in growth. And the thing is, it can actually backfire. And I have experience with this from a previous channel. And it's kind of rare information to come across, but I've seen other people say this exact same thing. So one person was saying they had a viral video where they got a ton of subscribers, and it ruined their channel because every time they'd put out content, they would lose a bunch of subscribers. And that was actually kind of that's basically the same thing as my previous experience. But I only got I got about 300 subscribers in just a couple of days. And then, so you're really not going to be able to please all of those new subscribers. Every time I would upload something, even if it was like what I thought was good quality on the same exact subject, I'd still lose subscribers. So no matter what I did, I'd upload content and I'd lose subscribers. And so what I could have done, and what I probably should have tried harder to do, is to like muscle through that and just go like a few months uploading content every day, and focusing on my views until I got through that and I was gaining more subscribers than I was losing. So I think that's the only thing that you can do there. And also, I think what I'd also try to do probably is I'd try to do live streams and try to sort of convert the new attention that I got, try to convert that into a lot of watch time. And if you do live streams, so this is one thing on this channel, I have very little watch time. So that's another thing I gotta try to improve. So if I do, like, I just think a good idea here is to like upload videos and then do a bit of live stream. And if I get a few people watching the live streams, I'm gonna have a lot better watch time. So live streams can, if you have some viewers, can contribute sort of disproportionately in terms of the watch time, I think. That's just my take. But and I enjoy live streams. Now these aren't getting a lot of views. But I'll give it a chance, you know. While this is going up, I'll do some live streams that I'm gonna enjoy anyway. I'm learning German, playing video games, gonna enjoy it, and maybe after a couple months, I'll look back and say, that was worth doing. I don't know. Giving it a try. And so, like I said, if you have a viral video or something where you gain a bunch of subscribers, one thing you could do, and probably this is what most people do, they start working really hard on their next video and to make sure that it's really good, and that they want to, basically they hit a home run and they want to hit another home run. And for some people that works out. Some people, they dot their I's and cross their T's. They do all kinds of things right on this platform, and that is a good recipe for success. You know, have good audio quality, good picture quality, good thumbnails, sort of concentrate the content and pick good subjects and edit it and make it really good all the time. That is one, that's like probably the best strategy for succeeding, kind of obvious. But that's not me. I'm more of like, I want to experiment, and there's a, you know, another thing, I'm not focused on one category. So if you're, what I just described, where you do everything right, you have to be focused on a niche, on a specific category, and sort of know your audience and grow a specific audience. Whereas I'm more experimental, and I want my audience to be from a few different places, like programming, people interested in programming, people interested in math, people interested in game development, people interested in languages. I think those are the main things. There might be some others, but those are the main things. And there's overlap. Some people are interested in all of those. So I can't do that. I'm more doing experimentation. I can do more quantity compared to those others. So anyway, different strategies for different stuff. But all I want to say is that sort of having a big spike in growth actually can really hurt. And the way that it hurts is that it destroys the feedback mechanism that you have with your analytics. Because if you go back to doing your regular content, so like you hit a home run, that's exceptional, the stars aligned, you know, it happens. Like things happen where I don't know why that particular thing did well. So like this, I liked this thumbnail, which this was the automatically generated thumbnail, by the way. But I thought it looked funny, and I think that's why this video is my best, you know, the most watched video here. And even though it's 43 minutes long, so I wasn't sure, so I thought, oh, it's 43 minutes long, maybe nobody's going to click on it. Kind of generic title, but I think actually this thumbnail grabbed people's attention because it's a little bit weird. And then the content, at least for the first 5-10 minutes, was enough to grab people's attention. So the algorithm smiled upon me. And then there's this one where I think in the beginning, the thumbnail was very similar, but it was probably automatically generated, and it didn't have this text. So I think I changed the thumbnail later. But you know, these are examples, and this one too, the stars aligned. First of all, these were mainly, basically, these two are automatically generated thumbnails. I didn't put up a thumbnail. And this one, at first, I'm pretty sure was automatically generated, and then I added the text. So the stars just kind of aligned. The content is at least mildly interesting, to be fair, I think, anyway. And it had had thumbnails that people clicked on, you know, compared to my other content. And now this one also got some views, but I don't think I got any subscribers. It's not a great video, but I had something to say, so I said it. And so anyway, so the stars align at some point, and you hit a home run, but when you go back to your ordinary everyday content, you will probably lose a bunch of keep losing subscribers. And what I was gonna actually, if I did this video the way that I wanted to do it, hold on. This content creator, many of you I'm sure know, makes really interesting videos. But he has a video actually where I don't know if I can find it, but he has a video where he sort of rants about the algorithm. It's from like 7 years ago or something. And is this it? No, I don't think so. This is it. Angry YouTube rant 7 years ago. And he looks at his analytics. He points out that let's see if we can. An ad is going to come up. Sorry about that. But take a look-see. I want to see if I can find his analytics here. Sorry, I'm not editing. But he basically says that he's been plateauing for like a year. That no matter what he does, his subscribers are about flat. And oh, look at this drop off. So yeah, I understand that's frustrating and comes out of the blue. The algorithm is complicated. But the thing is that people are complicated. Yeah, I don't know. This is worth watching. I might make a standalone video and where I figure out exactly what I wanted to say about this, but it's just, here's him plateauing for about a year, I think. And he had made at least one medical video of his current style. And so possibly, you know, this plateauing for a year may have helped him. So that's kind of a silver lining, that when you're plateauing or when things are looking down, that's really an opportunity to mix it up, right? And try different strategies. Now, that creates a feedback mechanism where actually that's how you can stay down, actually. So like, for example, poker, when by randomness things don't go well, and then people change their strategy, and it makes it worse, right? Like a professional poker player who's a true pro, who's been successful for years, even though things went bad randomly for a while, they should stick to what they know and stick to their proven techniques and strategies, you see? So it's a way, what happens is, we say people go on tilt, things don't go their way, things go poorly, and then they start like frantically trying all kinds of new different strategies, anything they can, right? It's a natural human behavior that when things aren't going well, you mix it up, right? So there can be a bad side to that where it messes with you. However, let me think. But say with something like chess, with these longer term, so I guess with longer term plateaus, that shouldn't really happen because you have time to strategize and think. With a short term, like you're doing bad that particular day, then mixing up your strategy is probably going to mess with you. But if you're doing a longer term plateau, okay, which happens pretty much to everyone in everything at some point, if they're doing it for years, that's an opportunity to try new strategies, to change it up. And I suspect that in Chubby Emu's case, like he was doing like video game stuff and all kinds of random content, but this might have been when he decided to focus on these medical videos, and it really sort of elevated him to the next level, maybe. So what I'm saying is that although plateauing for a year, and I'm nowhere near that, right? Like this channel is new. If it's going to plateau for a year, it would be like 3 years from now or something, you know. The next few years, there's all kinds of obvious ways to grow. But with this kind of like year-long plateau that he was going through, you just gotta view it as an opportunity to change, to mix things up, and to grow, to try to get better. And I think that's a sort of a moment of truth. Like that's where you start thinking, and that's what he was thinking. He's thinking, should I continue with this? You know, he wasn't making a living with this at the time. You know, that's the moment of truth where you try to figure out, look, subs last 30 days minus. So that must be really frustrating. But he had this, is this him or is he talking about someone else's data? I'm not sure. I think this is probably him. That's a lot of subs for back then. Maybe it's a different channel. RPM Networks? I don't know. So anyway, there's a silver lining, but it's sort of a moment of truth. That's the time when you really have to think, okay, is this really something I want to do? Whatever it is, could be chess, could be a hobby, it could be profession. It's very common after 3 or 4 years, you hit this. That's where, you know, the first few years, there's all this obvious and fantastic growth. After 3 or 4 years, it's very common that you hit this plateau and there you struggle, and that's the moment of truth, but it's also an opportunity. Not everyone continues through it, you know? A lot of people stop at that point. Could happen with musical instruments, could happen, I guess, with languages. If you don't live in the country, if you live in the country, I imagine, you know, you're continuing. So yeah. So that's what I wanted to talk about. And then this idea that a sudden spike of growth doesn't really, that's not what I'm looking for. Like probably, so 500 views on a video is okay for me, but if it gets to 1,000, and if I'm getting like, and doubling my subscribers roughly is okay. I've got, oh, I think it just increased while doing this video. But so if one video got me 80 subscribers, that's okay. But if it starts to get like 150 from one video, I actually might just make the video unlisted. I know that sounds insane to people, but I don't want a enormous spike in growth from one thing. As somebody said, this is so useful. Very nice conversation. Thank you. But I guess they maybe subscribed to me. Anyway, yeah. I think I said what I wanted to say. Sorry, it's a little impromptu, a little stream of consciousness. But, and like I've said in the past, talking about my analytics is not, I know it's not really good content. Nobody grows really big by that. But for me, it's part of the whole game development stuff right now. For me, this is part of it. Because you have to get people to play your game. So having a YouTube channel that grows nicely might be good for getting people to play my games. and also just interacting with people. This is a terrible thumbnail, but I just made this game about, or not a game, a video. I just recorded it about what I'm doing with the game dev stuff, my plans. This is a free model, so it's nothing important. But anyway, so you might be interested in that. But and I think if I put a decent thumbnail on that one and release it, and it's the weekend currently, I think this number will get up to well past 100, hopefully. So it's really satisfying, you know, posting regular content, setting these goals. But basically my thoughts are, for a month I'll have this range 50 to 100 views, and where 50 is easy to reach. As you can see, I'm well past it. 100 is a bit harder to reach. Right now it's the weekend. I believe it's Saturday in America. So I guess I'm getting a kind of spike, I think, from the weekend, kind of. But also this video is picking up. Sometimes videos take a few days before the algorithm jumps onto it. Sometimes an algorithm will randomly jump on a video way later. It seems random sometimes, but anyway. So I'm happy with it. I just think, you know, some people are going to look at what I'm doing and be like, wow, what a fail, you know? But I'm very happy with the steady growth. Thank you to all of you out there. And if you want to help me, then leaving likes helps a lot. Watching videos through, letting it play through, as you know, later on. Letting it, not just watching for 5 seconds and clicking away, but liking the videos and letting them play through helps me tremendously. You know, the algorithm, that's what the algorithm really looks for. So that's all you got to do if you want to help me out, but only if you want to. So thank you. Hope you have a good day. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have a good one.